Well, hello and welcome to the Kickstart Sheridan Action Plan Unveiling. We are certainly glad that you joined us today for this exciting day in our community. Welcome to Oak Hill Farms. This is a beautiful facility, and we're thankful for Lisa and DJ for lending us the use of their facility today. We know they're busy and have a lot of weddings about every weekend, so they've loaned us this facility for today. We certainly appreciate that. My name is Brad McGinley. I am the County Extension Agent for 4-H Agriculture and Community Development for Grant County. And I also serve as the co-chair for Kickstart Sheridan. And again, we're excited that you're here with us today. This is an exciting day for our community. Nine months ago, we started with a plan to create a shared vision and some goals for our community. When I work with 4-H kids, we talk about the 4-H motto, to make the best better. And I certainly think that this motto fits in this situation as well, because we are trying to take what we think is the best community in Arkansas and make it even better. And so I want to, as we get started today, I want to welcome I want to recognize a few of our Kickstart Sheridan Executive Committee members. These are the people that work long, hard hours to make this all possible. I want to recognize my other co-chair, Carrie Smith with the City of Sheridan. I want to recognize our Communications Chair, Lauren Goins with the Sheridan School District. Our treasurer for the group is none other than the CPA, Lisa Grove with Grove & Company. Our secretary is Mr. Jared Williams, the superintendent for Sheridan Schools. We have several other members on the executive committee, so if you're on the Kickstart Sheridan executive committee, I would ask that you stand to be recognized at this point. Again, these people work really hard to make this all possible. I also want to take the time to recognize some very special guests we have with us today. Again, we want to thank the governor of the great state of Arkansas, Mr. Asa Hutchinson, for being with us today. We certainly appreciate you taking time to be with us today. We have several members of our legislative delegation with us today. Mr. Ken Bragg, Representative Ken Bragg. Senator Bruce Malik. Representative Mike Holcomb. Senator Trent Garner, was he able to make it today? I haven't seen him yet. Also wanted Julie Mayberry Representative Julie Mayberry couldn't be here today, but we have a former Representative Andy Mayberry with us here today. Also wanted to take the time to recognize County Judge Randy Pruitt. Thanks for being here, Randy. He also serves on our executive committee as well as Mayor Joe Wise for the City of Sheridan. He also serves on our executive committee. Also want to thank Dr. Houston Davis from UCA for being here, and also Dr. Rick Cartwright from the Associate Vice President for Agriculture with the U of A Cooperative Extension Service for being here with us. And Beth Phelps, our Ouachita District Director for the University of Arkansas Cooperative Extension Service. I do want to take the time to thank the UCA staff and Dr. Mark Peterson for their hard work and dedication to help us lead us through this project. And I want to turn it over to Miss Amy Whitehead, now with UCA.
Thanks, Brad. It's my pleasure to be here today in Sheridan, Arkansas, and I also have some people I'd like to recognize who worked really hard over the last 9 months to help bring the Kickstart Sheridan plan to fruition. So from UCA, we have Shelby Fiegel, Mariah Bruner, Dr. Chanel Ely, my boss, Victoria Mays, Serena Crow, and others. Our intern Greta is here, UCA student. I'd also like to thank the University of Arkansas Cooperative Extension, Dr. Mark Peterson. We have worked closely together for many years now, but this is our 5th community to work very closely together through the Kickstart program, and I learn from you every day. Thank you for your partnership into the Cooperative Extension. So summer 2018, we were looking for a new community to work with for our Community Kickstart program, and Sheridan had been on our radar. Representative Ken Bragg had come up to me at Rural Development Conference and said, Amy, I really want you to look at Sheridan and consider us for your next program. And so we got on a call with the mayor and with other community leaders, the school district, the chamber, and others to talk about what would it look like if UCA were to engage in work for 9 months, 10 months with this community. And we realized there was a passion for the community just as it was and aspirations for how good it could be moving forward. So it was our pleasure then to begin working with Sheridan since that time. And it really picked up heavily in August of 2018 when our advanced year class from the Community Development Institute came and did a high-level assessment of Sheridan, really looked at those strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and talked about what would it look like to move forward with the planning process. From there, we engaged hundreds of residents all over Sheridan, Grant County, YJ Nation, to really hear and listen about what was important to citizens for the future of this area. We met monthly, we formed action teams, and those action teams had a focus: downtown development, recreation and things to do, education and economic development, small business development and entrepreneurship, and infrastructure. Those are the major themes and priorities of what we've been working on over the last 9 months. And so it's been a pleasure to work with the community, and now today to get to unroll that final plan for the community. But now the real work really begins. It's time to start implementation. Later in the program, you'll hear from Lauren Goins. She's going to tell you about some of the exciting things that are already being implemented or planned for Sheridan, Grant County, and YJ Nation. So I won't spoil that. I'll let her share some of those things with you. This is important for the future. If you talk to economic development leaders in our state, like Shelley Short, who's here today with Arkansas Economic Developers and Chamber Executives, or anyone, they will tell you it's critical to have a plan for your future. What's your vision? What's your message? How are you going to deliver on that message? And so the citizens of this county have stood up and said, we're ready to share that with the world. So I want to commend you all. I want to thank you for being in partnership with UCA and Cooperative Extension, and we are here to support you as you move into implementation of this plan today. I failed to recognize one person, which I'd like to do before I invite our next speaker up, and that is Mr. Kelly Erstein, UCA's Chief of Staff, who calls Sheridan his hometown. He's here today. Kelly, I don't know where you're at. There's Kelly. So I knew if we didn't get this right, somebody was going to call Kelly and I was going to get in trouble. So I hope you haven't gotten any calls. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Houston Davis, the president of the University of Central Arkansas. And it's because of his leadership that UCA has positioned itself as really a driver for community development and economic development in the state. He's a leader who understands the value of public service, lifelong learning, and giving back, and using the resources of the university to benefit the state of Arkansas. So now, please help me welcome President Houston Davis.
Thank you very much, Amy, and welcome to everyone here today. Governor, always wonderful to see you, and so much appreciate the support that you provide to our state and to all of our communities. Amy is right about one thing, and that this is a priority, but she's wrong about that I play very little role in anything that UCA does that's meaningful. I just get to be able to be a part of a great team. It is something that we don't take for granted, that we, as a comprehensive university, are expected to wake up every day thinking about what it is that we do for our state. I talk about all the time with student engagement. You literally have to wake up every morning saying, what is it that you're going to do to make a commitment to student success or to serve the students that you come in contact with. The same thing happens if you are going to be a good steward of the place in which you live. And I'm blessed that we do have at UCA, and through the great partnership with UA Cooperative Extension Services, a lot of people that wake up every single morning seeing it as part of their mission to do this work in any and all communities in the state that we live. So there's a core mission that we get to live out when we join with you in being able to lift up a community and all that's possible. We believe believe that work like this is going to be a key driver of economic development. When we start talking about what's going to happen from a labor and workforce, from a quality of life, from a health, all of those quality indicators, it's going to be answered by communities feeling empowered to step up and make claims of distinctiveness and make claims of what can we do to make it better. But then also there's a great amount of accountability that comes along with that. When a community puts its name on the line and says, this is what we want to see for our future. I love that we've got the students that are here from the high school participating with us as a part of the jazz band combos we're gathering today. It's important that they be a part of these conversations because in the end, this baton will be passed to them very quickly. And it's my understanding that the school system is very much involved in this work to this point. It's multi-generations stepping up and saying, not only do we want to be empowered as a community, but we will hold ourselves accountable for being able to do that. I want to salute our Division of Outreach that does take it upon themselves to get out and represent UCA in this way. Things like our Coding Academy, the Conductor, other initiatives that really are part of tentacles that are reaching out and almost extension services for a new economy. And I like the fact that we are positioned to be able to do that. From UCA's perspective, we're proud to be alongside with you. We stand at the ready to play whatever role we can play in your future. But the main thing is just wish you best of luck. Kickstart Sheridan is off to a great start, but that's just it. It's the start. I can't wait to see as we roll forward 24 months, 5 years, 10 years in the future, the great things that are going to happen because, again, folks have stood up and said that we see an exciting future and we're going to make it happen. God bless you. Thank you for being here today.
I'd like to now invite Dr. Mark Peterson from Cooperative Extension up to speak with us next.
Good afternoon. Come on. Okay, one more time. Good afternoon. Okay, good, great, good job. Well, I'm just delighted to be here. It's just an honor to be a part of this. Amy and her team do great work. It's been a real privilege. I think I've learned more than anybody else, so thank you, Amy and your team. And Dr. Davis, UCA's been a great partner to work with. It's also exciting to be a part of Kickstart Sheridan. It's exciting to see how issues and concerns become translated into strategic goals and action steps. It's even more exciting to see those action steps become translated into action that will impact the future of your community for the foreseeable future. We live in an exciting time, the emerging 21st century economy. It's digital, it's global, and it's fast. It's also very disruptive, and communities and businesses and organizations that do not adapt will suffer. We see that in Arkansas, with 2/3 of Arkansas counties losing population in the last census estimate. That means that they've not been able to keep up. So the 21st century economy is also loaded with opportunities for communities, organizations, and businesses that know how to leverage the assets to create opportunities to attract resources. And that's what I see here in Kickstart Sheridan. So it's been a real privilege. So reach over and shake somebody's hand and tell them, we're going to make things happen. I have two more things to share with you. We have a Breakthrough Solutions Conference coming up June 26th. It'll be in Little Rock. The director of the Center for Rural Innovation in Vermont is going to be our speaker, and so I hope you all will come. We'll try to get the word out. Amy will help us get the word out for that event. Also, I want to share with you a poem. We have all drunk from wells we did not dig. We've all eaten food from seeds we did not sow. We've all enjoyed the shade of trees we did not plant. We are who we are, and we have what we have because someone else worked to make the world a better place. We do what we have. We do what we do for the next generation. I think that sort of embodies the spirit of Kickstart Sheridan. It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Rick Cartwright. Dr. Cartwright is the Associate Vice President for Agriculture Extension. That means he's a Director of Extension. I think a great leader has roots and wings. They're grounded. They have a value system and the deep values of community and family and faith. And they have wings. They encourage other people to explore new opportunities. And Dr. Cartwright does that, and does that in spades. He's been involved in the Division of Agriculture and Extension Research and Teaching for several years in rice diseases, received many awards at the state, national level, and he's come to share his wisdom with us in Extension. Let's give a welcome to Dr. Cartwright.
I always appreciate these introductions that I'm not sure they're totally factual, but that's okay. I was a rice pathologist, believe it or not. I would like to say thanks to the band. That was, I think that was there's some great music down here in Sheridan. And I love music. I can't play a lick, but I like to listen to it. And so that was good. That was good to listen to. Also, I just want to mention that I'm here representing the U of A Division of Agriculture as well. Dr. Mark Cochran is our Vice President, and Dr. J.F. Molyneux is our Associate Vice President for Research. And that just sets the stage for the Division of Ag as one of the 20 campuses of the University of Arkansas system today. It's been around a long time, and it houses the research mission of the University of Arkansas, as well as the extension mission. A lot of people not sure what that is sometimes, but research is about discovery, and we hope those discoveries are useful, and extension is about using those discoveries and teaching others to use that. In the broad view of the Division of Ag, we work in agriculture and natural resources, which are tightly related, as you would probably guess. Community and economic development, which is one of the more complex areas of involvement we have statewide, and we're in every county. And then family and consumer sciences, which is the most complex of the areas that we work in, because that's about humans, right? And then positive youth development and 4-H, which most of you are probably familiar with. Cooperative Extension Service, been around over 100 years now officially, and that name is very meaningful to me. Cooperative is a very telling part of our existence. We work with every organization and person and university and everything that you can imagine, and we are natural cooperators, but we also foster that in our employees and colleagues. And so with that, I would like to say to Amy and to Houston and UCA, this kind of cooperation can help result in great things. And the other thing Mark said that is telling about, and others have said, is sometimes the best way to be a leader or manager, Houston, is to get the right people in play and then get the heck out of the way, right? And so I've been told this about Amy, don't get in her way. So I'm going to stay out. But I do appreciate the University of Central Arkansas. There's 2 graduates in my family from UCA. And I appreciate the leadership that university is showing in community and economic development. I really hope in a state like this, every university that we work with, every community we work with, would take this very seriously, because down the road, at some point, we're going to have to think, and we should be thinking now, your kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids, what kind of community are they going to have to live in? Is it going to be one that is a community worth living in? And is it also a community where you can make a living? And so that's kind of the bottom line goal I see of efforts like this. So on behalf of the division, I would say thank you to all of you souls here in Grant County. You're not just going to talk about it, but you're going to do that. You are going to leave that community, that economy, for your kids and grandkids and great-grandkids. They'll appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Governor, we appreciate your comment and your involvement in all these community activities. It's really special. Stacy McCullough is here. Stacy, stand. Stacy is our Assistant Director for Community and Economic Development. We appreciate Stacy's leadership. I'm going to introduce Mayor Joe Wise in just a moment. You know, I think leaders, it takes guts to be a leader. When the rest of us are kicking back in the evening, you know, watching TV, whatever, they're in a meeting on the front line. They take the hits, they take the calls. So let's give our leaders, the elected officials, a hand, because they just do an extraordinary job. They have this saying that says, if you get too far out ahead of your troops, they think you're the enemy and they shoot at you. So it's tough. Joe Wise has been mayor since 1988 in Sheridan, which is a remarkable record. It means that he's in tune with the people of the community, that they would trust him with the leadership. I have to tell you a little story about him. He gave us a tour when we first came here. And so those of you who are not from here on the west part of town, there's this really gorgeous ball field. And the mayor was involved in transforming a landfill into a ball field. I think that's emblematic of what Kickstart Sheridan is about, is how do you take what you have, your assets, how do you transform them into something incredible? Let's give a welcome to Mayor Joe Wise.
As Brad already mentioned, today is a very exciting day for our community, and we especially want to show our appreciation to Governor Asa Hutchinson for clearing his schedule and being here today and being a part of our program. If you all will stand and extend a Grant County welcome to the governor.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. It is good to be a part of Kickstart Sheridan. Sheridan is a wonderful community. I've known it for much of my life as a community that has strong relationships, a great place to live, a good school system, and good paying jobs that are here as well. But as was pointed out, there's a challenge in today's world about making sure that we're growing and moving in the right direction. And it does take leadership, it takes planning. And I appreciate Amy, I appreciate Dr. Davis and UCA partnership with the University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture to help Sheridan over the last 9 months guide yourselves in developing your own strategic plan that is unique to you. And I know our legislative delegation has been introduced, but I want to stop and just say how important they are to economic development. They support the initiatives, they support the incentives that we have, the competition, and no one is more supportive of this community and the state's efforts in economic development than your legislators. Please give them a round of applause. I did take advantage of looking at some of the action plan. And it's exciting to see that you break it down into areas that you want to work on, from the downtown area and improving it, to infrastructure and recognizing the need for high-speed broadband internet throughout this area, even in mentioning biking trails, improvements in education and our workforce. All of these are critical elements and many more details that you have in your plan that are so important for the future. And so I congratulate you on this kickstart. I hope that you'll build on this foundation, and that a year from now and beyond that you'll be able to come back and say, we accomplished the objectives, we moved our city and our community in the right direction. If you look at the state of Arkansas, first of all, there's a lot of good things happening. Just in a broad perspective, the fact that we've created 80,000 jobs, that we are consistently, over the last 5 years, below the national average of unemployment. We actually reached the lowest unemployment rate in the history of Arkansas in 2017. We've moved over 80,000 people into work and 65,000 people out of poverty and into a higher income level. In the fourth quarter of last year, Arkansas ranked 5th in the nation in personal income growth. Now, underscore that. Beating Texas, beating a number of our surrounding states. Number 5 of the nation in personal income growth. And that's because we have low unemployment, jobs are being created. And so we've got to continue that path. And it's been exciting that we completed. It's not exciting that we just completed the legislative session. It's exciting that we accomplished all we did during the legislative session. And I think we got a fan of education, perhaps. But yes, in this session, we accomplished not just my 4 T's, raising teacher pay, minimum salary, $4,000 over the next 4 years. But we also, we passed a historic transportation or highway funding bill that is $300 million, the largest in history, and it's important for us. We also passed tax cuts that allow us to be more competitive. And I'd like to think that the fact that we are growing in personal income growth also has something to do that we've lowered our tax rates so that we can be more competitive. And then the biggest challenge of them all, perhaps, is transforming state government from 42 departments that report to me down to 15. Better management, better delivery of services, more efficiencies. And then now that the session is over, we're able to concentrate on some great things like economic development. And shortly after the session ended, we announced that CZUSA is going to come to Arkansas and create over 600 jobs over the next 6 years. Now, that is a firearms manufacturing company that originates out of the Czech Republic. And you say, and they had a distribution facility in Kansas City, but no manufacturing facility anywhere in the United States of America. They wanted to build a manufacturing facility, and they looked at Kansas and Missouri because they were close by. How did Arkansas get in the mix? We got in there and we competed. We said, we want you here. We need you here. We've got the workforce for you. We believe in the Second Amendment and firearms possession, and that we're a firearm-friendly state. And so we were getting warm, and then we provided some incentives to them. We showed them the place, and we developed a relationship with them. I went to the SHOT Show in Nevada so I could make my case to them over breakfast. But you know what one of the turning points was? And that is when Bogadon, who's the CEO, just said, I want to explore Arkansas. And he got in his vehicle and he drove down to Arkansas, and he happens to like biking trails. And he got on a biking trail and he fell in love with Arkansas. And then he went outdoors and saw Pinnacle Mountain and all that we have to offer in this state. And he says, this is a place I can live. Now, the other turning point is that he brought his kids down here. And the kids down here, and they're teenagers. Now, how do you sell a teenager picking up in the middle of high school and moving somewhere? And they looked around and they fell in love with the same things in our quality of life and said, we can see ourselves living here. And so that was a key turning point as well. But that is 600 jobs, and it's going to be in the central Arkansas area, paying $22 an hour, a minimum salary. Now, you might say, well, how does that benefit Sheridan? And these are a couple points that I want to emphasize, and that is that you've got to have the right infrastructure. And that's why you're looking at your downtown. I saw that you're looking at some of your access roads on the bypass and how you can make sure they're ready for development. And so infrastructure is a critical part of it. And let me tell you, we passed $96 million immediate highway plan that your city and county right here will start getting and receiving about this August. That gives you more funds locally. And then if you will extend the half-cent sales tax in November of 2020, not a new tax, an extension of an existing half-cent sales tax, if you pass that, then we're going to have a highway plan in Arkansas that is second to none. you're going to be able to assure yourselves that we'll have money for continued development and maintenance of our roads that's important for economic development. Whenever you look at education is a critical part of it. That it is, and I want to applaud the Sheridan School District because you have a great reading program, you have an emphasis upon improving the students, and you also have one of the best computer science education programs in the state of Arkansas. And the superintendent knows that I happen to actually check numbers when I travel somewhere. And I love your enrollment. I love what you're doing. I love your teacher and the story behind that. But you have a great education system. You know you need to continue to work and improve that in the workforce because that makes a difference when you recruit that industry. But coming back to the point I made, how in the world does a CZUSA or a Sig Sauer that recruited, how does that benefit communities like Sheridan? And this is what I need you to focus on in one of your strategic plans is to make sure you can be in the supply chain. It is that supply chain. You might not get that 600-person facility right here, but will you be able to supply and create jobs surrounding that major facility that will drive the supply chain? We brought Sig Sauer into Jacksonville from New Hampshire, a premium ammunition manufacturing facility. And that creates over 100 jobs in Jacksonville. But the joy I got is that whenever I went down the river valley, a small community called Danville, they said, thanks for bringing Sig Sauer into Arkansas because we have Grandeur Fasteners, an old company that's been around for a while, but they had to add 25 employees because they got a contract with Sig Sauer. They're making the cartridges. You go up to Melbourne, a small community in northern Arkansas. Thanks for bringing Sig Sauer in. We got a contract. They're microplastics, and that creates jobs in that small community. So where are you in the supply chain? What are your suppliers? What are the small industries? And yes, you might be able to recruit one of the big ones as well. But you've got to be able to make sure you remember the importance of when we have success anywhere in Arkansas, it benefits all of Arkansas. And it will benefit Sheridan as well. And then finally, you can't forget marketing. And your economic development, your mayor, your team here, your Kickstart Sheridan helps to market Sheridan so that you'll be on the radar screen as industries look and they look at the supply chain and they look at where they want to live. The opportunities are here, right here in Grant County. I'm excited to be here for you. I'll end with a story just because I like a little symbolism from time to time. And I went out, when I first got elected governor, started the Computer Science Initiative. And so I went out to Silicon Valley with the idea that I'm going to be able to recruit those tech companies to Arkansas because we got such great talent that we're going to start producing. And of course, Silicon Valley, that land between San Jose and San Francisco that has all the large tech companies there, I went knocking on their doors and I came to Facebook. And I learned very quickly that LinkedIn, these companies, they hear about what we're doing in Arkansas and they say, we love that. We love what you're doing, creating that talent. We want to try to recruit them out here to California. And that's the lesson I learned. You're going to bring those technology jobs right here to Arkansas. And so, but when I went into Facebook, I saw something different as well. And that is they designed the most modern facility that is imaginable. They had, don't close your ears, young people, because you might be tempted to go out there and check it out someday. They had a workplace that had chefs on every floor. They had every amenity that you could imagine. They had a park on the top of it that you could work wirelessly, of course, and do your work. But then I noticed as I put my hand down that on the counter that it was unfinished plywood that had not been varnished, it had not been sandpaper, it was just rough. And I said, what did you do, run out of money? You couldn't finish this project? And they said, you don't understand the story. that the architects and designers of Facebook headquarters intentionally left a number of things uncompleted to remind all the leadership team right here in Facebook that our job is not yet finished. Our mission is not yet accomplished. And I think that's where you are right here in Sheridan. You've got kickstart, but we're not finished. We've got a long ways to go. And with the leadership that's in this room, you can accomplish what you want for this generation and the next. Thank you all very much.
Hi, my name is Lauren Goins. I'm the Director of Communications for the Sheridan School District, and I am also the Communications Chair for Kickstart Sheridan. At this time, I would like to invite our Mayor Joe Wise, our County Judge Randy Pruitt, and our Kickstart co-directors up to the front. And Governor, we would like to present a gift to you as our way of thanking you for your support and thank you for being here today. As you know, Sheridan is known for its timber, and we have a piece of timber from here in Grant County, and it has our logo burned onto it. And if we could all get in a picture real quick.
Yeah. That's terrific.
Sheridan, Grant County, YJ Nation, this is our time. Are you ready? We are right on track for possibly the greatest transformation our community has ever seen. Yes, we are a small town. We do not have the economic development experts or the funding that you might see in bigger cities. And it's true, we don't have all the answers. Isn't that right, Brad? When considering these challenges, you might ask, Lauren, how can you be so optimistic? How can you be so sure we are going to succeed? Well, my answer to you is this. I see you. I see how you love your neighbors. I see how you love our community. I am blessed to work for the Sheridan School District, and I know about all the individuals who work very hard to make sure the children in our school district are fed. The children in our school district who do not know where their next meal is coming from, they get a backpack home full of food every weekend. In the summer, our churches come together and they feed them throughout the summer. Just last summer, they served over 13,000 meals to our students. And this, by the way, is not funded by the state or the federal government. This is all funded through private donations and corporate donations. Being a small town, we do not have a lot of employers, but businesses like People's Bank, who sponsored us today, are always willing to step up and make generous donations to our school district and other local organizations in our community. Our largest employer, Kohler, has donated more than $150,000 worth of equipment and supplies to support a Kohler Academy right here at Sheridan High School. The Academy will prepare students for careers in advanced manufacturing and engineering. This will not only serve our students, it will also serve our employers and our local economy because, as you know, an organization's biggest asset is a quality workforce. Partnerships. We live in the age of partnerships. Partnerships and collaboration are essential to transformational leadership. We no longer live in a world where a command and control style of leadership works. The issues facing communities today are very complex. It takes many minds working together. Some people don't know how to work together, but you do. We do. Here in our small, friendly, tight-knit community, we know the importance of relationships. It's simply part of our small town values. I know we will succeed because I see you all working together every day to create a better tomorrow. With very little resources, our Chamber of Commerce puts on an amazing Timberfest and other community events each year. With very little resources, the city of Sheridan has created an excellent Parks and Recreation Center that includes ballparks, a swimming pool, and a splash pad. Our local law enforcement agencies and first responders provide us with a safe and secure environment in which to live. And with one of the lowest funding streams in Arkansas for school districts of its size, the Sheridan School District is building 3 new state-of-the-art facilities while also paying teachers salaries that are well above the state average. You see, we already have the foundation in place to build a better future. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our time. There is no better time for us to take the next step and make our community a better place to live, work, and play. It is my pleasure to share with you just a few things our committees have been working on and the things that we're planning to do. I'm going to go through each one, and if you don't mind, the chairs of our committee, I ask you to stand up. That way, if anybody wants to get involved with your committees, that they can come to you after this meeting. I'll start with downtown development. Lisa Grove is our chair of downtown development. It's all about revitalizing our downtown area. Just this month, they organized a cleanup day for Sheridan. They put new beautiful flowers in our planters, and they have big plans to start a farmer's market in our downtown area. Education and economic development. I'm actually the chair of that committee. This month, we hosted our first community-wide career fair. We offered the career fair to students during the day and adult job seekers during the evening. We had great participation from employers and job seekers. One of our long-term goals is to provide more access to high-quality childcare so that we can give our children the best start at life, and also make sure that the parents who need to go to work are able to go to work because they have somewhere to take their children during the day. We're also working with the Recreation and Things to Do Committee, and if Justin Wise and Mayor Wise could go ahead and stand up. We're working on bringing an after-school program to Sheridan so that children have a safe place to go after school where they can extend their learning and have fun. Also, our Recreation and Things to Do Committee has already put together a community theater group, and I think their first show is set to happen in October. And over the summer, actually starting Memorial Day weekend, we will bring movies at the park to Sheridan Parks and Recreation Center. Next, I have small business development and entrepreneurship. Tina Hurt, our chamber director, is the chair of this committee. This committee is all about strengthening our businesses and bringing new businesses to our community. They have already developed some marketing materials to promote our community and have plans to assess the needs of our businesses to see what training and other services we can provide. And finally, infrastructure. Mr. Derek Wyatt and Ben Hammond, they are the chairs of this committee. They are looking at making sure that we have the infrastructure we need to develop around the bypass area, and they are already working on putting in more sidewalks, specifically to connect the junior high and the high school so that children have a safe place to walk around in our community. I hope that when you hear about all these things that we've accomplished and all these things that we plan to do, that you get excited and that you see what I see. We have a very bright future ahead of us. I thank you so much for being here and supporting us here today.